Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker spoiler review. Because some people don't read titles and shit. So spoilers. This whole thing is spoilers. Okay, good. Right, spoilers. Okay, my name is Jabba the Slut, and joining me is Darth Japati. And we're going to be doing spoilers. All right, just so you know. Okay, so Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker. This film hurt my brain. This film hurt my heart, my balls, my brain again. It was convoluted, stupid, plot hole ridden dumbassery with some really nice elements in it as well that I really enjoyed, if that makes sense. So that being said, before we go into further detail, I'll swing over to Zam and just get his general opinion, and just be aware, people like the film, people don't like the film. It's okay. It's just a fucking film. You're okay to like it. You're okay to not like it. So that being said, over to Darth Chapati, or whatever I called him earlier.
Okay. Like my race in this country, I'm a minority. I actually liked it. I liked it a lot. More than I expected to like it. I'll get into some of the things that I didn't want to happen, but did happen, that I actually appreciated more than I wanted to. I'll just get straight into it, actually. I'll get the one thing I want to mention that I thought I didn't want to happen, but it did happen, and I liked it, was the redemption of Kylo Ren. That worked for me. It really did. And even though I didn't want him to be redeemed, I didn't mind it. But overall, I liked it because what J.J. Abrams inherited was a fucking mess from Rian Johnson. I mean, Rian Johnson took Last Jedi nowhere. That might as well have been Episode 7, The Last Jedi. That would have
That's
been a good
the problem. Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry, Zam. That's the problem. Last Jedi went fucking nowhere.
It didn't develop the characters well enough. Like, what was the point of fucking Finn and that girl doing any of that shit in Last Jedi just to fucking end up on a spaceship which they get saved from, which they got nothing from in the fucking first place, but they got destroyed by that woman who shouldn't have done it. It should have been fucking Akbar who done that play. Oh my god! Anyway, I'm straight. I'm going away from what I'm on a massive tangent here.
Look,
give credit to J.J. Abrams. He not sorry.
Wait, just to make people clear.
Hello, Ben.
There will be references to both Force Awakens and Last Jedi. We're not going to be avoiding those while we're talking
Star
about
Wars
this
in
video.
general.
Don't feel bad if you're going back and forth, because I will be doing that quite often, especially with The Last Jedi. So anyway, go ahead.
As I was saying, yeah, J.J. Abrams inherited a mess. I mean, he should have done the whole fucking trilogy, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Force Awakens either. But nevertheless, he had a massive shitstorm to deal with. And not only that, he also had to deal with the passing of Carrie Fisher, who was supposed to be the main character from the original trilogy in this movie. I'm not the biggest fan of her scenes, to tell you the truth. It felt a bit weird, a bit awkward. You kind of knew what was going on. But nevertheless, to deal with all of that and to wrap it up, it's very difficult, considering we went nowhere. Okay, we put all these plot devices just for fucking Rian in Force Awakens, therefore Rian Johnson just to cancel it all out, not to progress it. You know, what is he trying to progress? Broom Boy? For fuck's sake, Broom Boy we never saw him again. You know what I mean? Rose, she was fucking put on the fucking back shelf. You know what I mean? It's just So for Rian Johnson to take this on board, and this was a massive roller coaster journey. There was a lot of things that still need to be answered. I feel like I have to watch the film a second time, to understand everything. I mean, I still can't figure out how the fuck Palpatine came back. And one more thing before I get it back to you. I got loads of things to say. Ian McDermott. I love Ian McDermott, but I don't think he was that great in this. You know, I think as the Emperor, I usually think he's one of the best things about Star Wars in the previous movies that he's been in. I mean, for me he was the best thing along with Ewan McGregor regarding the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, I thought he was shit. I really did. I wasn't impressed by the Emperor too much.
Okay.
But anyway, go on.
Before we go into details of the scenes and all of that, I want to address the Kylo Ren thing. I agree. I agree. I didn't want his redemption, but it was done well-ish. It was done. You don't watch it and just feel like fuck. So I wish they never did it, but because there is no more emotional investment in this, you're like, okay, fine. I kind of like that bit at the end and all of that, which we'll get to later. However, Last Jedi did a lot of damage. That I understand, but you got to play the cards you're dealt with. So what I wouldn't have done, I said, you know what? Fuck Palpatine. Fuck having Ian McDermott in it, who again I love. What I would have done here is just have the rise of Kylo Ren and him wreaking havoc through the galaxy. He's completely unhinged. He has no master. He has nothing to follow. He's just saying, just fucking blow it all up. Find the fucking rebels or the resistance. Blow it up. Fuck it. Make him irredeemable. People would have loved him a lot more. Make him just irredeemable. Make it that his power grew in this. And that him and Rey, like, there is a conflict at the beginning and he beats her bad. Because Rey is such a fucking boring, unrelatable character in this. And it's a shame because Daisy Ridley is a really good actress, all right? And I'm not going to attack actors in this. I fucking hate when people do that. You're paid to do a role. There's only so much you can do about it. All right? But she had no redeeming qualities. You never felt down or sad or invested in her. So if they would have done that, he beats her badly. So she has to get better, get stronger, redeem herself as well for the final battle. And take that final battle how you will. Obviously, because you're closing the saga, Ben dies in this. That's fine. Or have them both die. Fuck it. You know, but instead, they thought they were in such a corner that they had to shoehorn in Palpatine to get fan interest in this. No, there is no fan interest. It's gone. It's already dead. This film is not going to make as much money as they're hoping for. So just play the cards you dealt with. You know, the whole Palpatine thing was fucking stupid. And I agree with you. Ian McDermott will chew up the scenery wherever he's in. Here, it felt like such a typical J.J. Abrams character, just hollow, bloating hot air and fucking hearsays and
phrases and callbacks.
Yeah, phrases, callbacks, platitudes and cliches. That's the words I was looking for that you've seen before. And it's just like, come on, man. You're such a fucking typical Hollywood, you know, CW type villain in this, just bloated ass. You know, the subtleties that George Lucas got out of Ian McDermott in the prequels was fantastic, which is a miracle given what a pile of shit those are. All right, yeah, but he didn't need to be in this at all. So, with that being said, so Zam, what do you think of what I said? What do you reckon?
No, look, I agree with you. This should have been Kylo Ren's movie as the big bad, with nobody else, no even hint of redemption. They don't even need to, because it gets a bit too tropey after that. We've been down this route before. As much as I agree with you about maybe Kylo Ren beating her and then her coming back, then we've done that before with Anakin against Dooku. We've done that before with Luke versus Vader. We'll be doing it again with Rey. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but nevertheless, it should have been Kylo Ren's film, and this shows you a lack of imagination. And you're right; they should have gone with what was left with, instead of trying to retcon shit. Okay, we want to make Rey a somebody. No, keep her as a nobody. She's established as a nobody now. That's fine. Keep her as that. She doesn't have to be a fucking Palpatine. You know,
exactly. Which, I mean, to be fair, that was my theory in the first place. That she was an embodiment of Palpatine of some kind. But it's just
it would be better if she was a clone. It would be better if she was a clone,
Yeah.
something along those lines. But the granddaughter. So what about your son, Sheev? Don't you want him to, the next person to rule over you? I mean, like, what? How could somebody like this get away from you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
When did he have a son? When why does the son look so fucking normal? Like Palpatine is a lot older than people suspect him to be. He just hides his age well. The son is like just this fucking throwaway nothing. The Force kind of skipped him. In the comic books, brother, I don't really regard the comic but I just use this because it was actually interesting what they did. In the comic books, they say that it was Palpatine that gave birth to Anakin. He kind of molded the midichlorians and forced to impregnate the thing to plant his successor or his apprentice. All right, that's a cool kind of way of dealing with the virgin birth thing. Okay, they could have easily have done that in that, because if it's established now as law in the comic books, then you might as well just, and this is the Disney ones, not the other ones. These are the Disney ones. Okay, so they can't say that, oh, it's somebody else's premise, so we have to. These are the Disney ones. So it could have easily been that, he put his spore in somebody and all this kind of shit. But sorry, go on. It's still stupid. It's still stupid.
Have you read Darth Plagueis? It's legend now. It's no longer canon. But they're just basically doing what Plagueis did. Apparently, it's not really confirmed. It's not confirmed, but in the book, Plagueis did some shit, where he was manipulating the midichlorians. Oh, fuck's sake. Sorry, I apologize. He was manipulating the midichlorians in order to create life, obviously, to extend life, to live forever. He stopped even sleeping. And there are some hints that by manipulating the midichlorians, he somehow created Anakin, and now they're just throwing all of that shit onto Palpatine instead, and it's just as bad as the bleeding kyber crystals, which I fucking hate in this Disney version of Star Wars. Fuck's sake. I hate bleeding kyber crystals.
Anything but just a granddaughter, and nothing's explained about the kid, the son, where he came from. Why he looks so fucking young after all those years. It's just, honestly. Anyway, so that being said, as we're talking, like, the opening crawl, one of the most poorly written, worded opening
movie crawl
of any movie of any description. All right, it's just so fucking like they always have the same writer that comes in and does the Star Wars stuff. I forget his fucking name. It's like Colin something. And he's done the other 8. Huh?
Has he done the other 8?
Well, not all of the other 8s. He's done like the Disney ones.
Oh, fair enough.
Kind of worked in. It's like somebody. He's not like the main writer, but he's there. And hello, Focus. Welcome. Great.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sorry. I see there.
3 different directors, and nobody could agree on the main arc. It's not fucking. Listen. I know stories. You know stories. This was just... Anyway, so we're at the beginning now, okay? So, obviously, at the beginning of the film, Kylo goes to this Sith planet. I forget the names of the planets. Please forgive me. I don't really care. And holo visual, which is J.J. Abrams' thing. Fucking shit director he is. Another holo visual. Oh, I'm walking towards this building, just got to whip out my lightsaber. Just because it looks cool in the dark. Anyway, he goes to this planet. Straight away, you see fucking Palpatine, and straight away you're told, Snoke was a fucking clone. Why does it be a clone? Why can't it just be possessed by Palpatine? Why are you throwing it away as just a fucking clone? We've seen possession.
Should have been
in the lore.
He could have been one of Palpatine's, in my opinion. Sorry, Ginger, to interrupt. I really wish we found out that he was one of the Inquisitors, because the Inquisitors were Sith trained, but they weren't Sith. They were, they knew the Jedi arts and all of that shit, but they weren't Sith. And if he was one of those, that would make more sense. That he was one of Palpatine's old Inquisitors who survived. After
they have the same Force powers.
Sorry,
do they have the same Force powers as the Sith?
But by the time that person would have got to that stage in the lore, he would have been old enough, wise enough, strong enough, what in the Force, knowledge of the Force.
Okay.
So
you could have just done that. An Inquisitor.
You should have made it, you could have said that. I had, he was my Inquisitors or some shit like that. He looks like. Some people, if you type in Inquisitors on Google, he could have passed for one of them, and it would have tied up the fucking law beautifully. There's one particular bald-headed one. He could have represented that guy.
There you go.
Malcolm.
Tremendous.
Dream.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Yes, Manic Malcolm. Star Wars has been Disneyfied. It's now Star Wars. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It lacks balls to be bold. So yeah, I agree, Zam. I agree. Could have been an Inquisitor, And then anyway, so as he progresses through, we see Palpatine and he's hooked up to this machine and he's kind of being wielded around. So he's reanimated but not fully alive, kind of thing. Even though maybe his spirit's there, it's just weird. His eyes are white, and he doesn't look like how he looked like in Return of the Jedi. He just
was that a new body?
No, it wasn't a new body. It was the same body. Like you can see the fingers are all chewed up and all of that, like worn out.
How did he get on that Anubis thing?
That
giant thing it looks like the Anubis from.
Yeah, from fucking that Assassin's Creed film. First of all,
yeah, how did he get on it?
How powerful are you to survive a fall, an explosion, and another explosion, and falling into the atmosphere of a planet? And he survives. That body survives. If it's his spirit embodied in somebody else, you can understand that. You can also have, like, if you had to have that prick in it, you can also have it that there's something with, like, he can't penetrate Rey, because obviously she's too on the side of the light when by the time they discover her and all this kind of stuff. So that's why he needs, like, strike me down, and because people need to strike me down all the time. So that's that scene. I think, Zam, again, you explained it perfectly well. About Snoke should have been an Inquisitor. How the fuck did Palpatine survive that? And how do we find that? How do you find this fucking planet? Well, you have these little quest things, these little triangle pathfinders. How the hell's Kylo's ship have the equipment to connect this ancient thing? Anyway, that's just little nitpicking. But that kind of
talking about ships, just near the beginning of the film where they go onto that planet where they have a celebration once every 42 years, and then they end up in that fucking quicksand.
Yeah.
And it Goonies, you know that? It fucking became the Goonies, yeah?
Yeah.
They end up in quicksand and they deal with that fucking snake. She does the force healing. I have no problem with force healing, by the way. That's been around in Star Wars, but never in movies. So it's good that they introduced it. Heal the shit, and then, the snake. It's like when I heard people mention it was like a fucking video game. No shit, it really was. And they find this fucking blade, and it's got all this shit on it, written on it.
We'll get to all that. We're jumping a bit ahead.
No, that's at the beginning of the movie, mate.
That's not right at the beginning, though.
Not right at the beginning. Sorry, I apologize.
So after that, we then switch to Poe and his lot go to an ice planet for absolutely no fucking reason, just to get some information, because the resistance
was hardly used, by the way. Hardly used. What's the point of fucking building
her as well?
See it properly.
Yeah, we'll get to her as well later. Don't worry. I don't want to go back and forth too much. So don't worry, we'll get to the dagger focus. So they go to this ice planet. They get a message from the First Order, because there's a mole in the First Order, and then the TIE fighters find them, and then they just, for no fucking reason, introduce another new thing called light speed skipping. What and why is the fucking point of light speed skipping? Again, it is because J.J. Abrams is a hollow cunt who cares more about visual spectacle than substance. So here we are. Yes, it looks cool. You're jumping from one thing to another. And you try. They're just fucking TIE fighters. You're telling me you wipe out God knows how many to begin with, and then these last few are a nuisance? Once you've done a skip, just fucking skip. Go. Does all the TIE fighters now have tracking devices for lightspeed tracking? You know, the lightspeed tracker was on one big fucking freight ship, and they had to be near it in The Last Jedi, as far as I remember. Okay, now the little TIE, it's just fucking
there was
hell.
a lot of things. They did say "fuck you" to Last Jedi on a few occasions in this film, but yeah, it's funny. Of all these negative things we are bringing up, but I just want to stay on course. I did overall. I was happy with this film. I think you said this as well, Ginge, on Facebook, that this for you was your favorite of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, which ain't saying much.
But
But yeah,
yeah, I agree. But I didn't like Force Awakens. It was. I might as well just watch New Hope. It's basically the same fucking movie.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, I have no idea what they were doing, and as well as the humor was so bad. And this one, I guess I'm giving. Oh, I'm almost giving J.J. Abrams a pass, but I just wish he stopped making everything a fetch quest. It could have been so. He just had to he had to simplify it. Really, he didn't have to make it more complicated. He needed to simplify it and just work with what you got instead of having to retcon shit. Because he was so desperate to make fucking Rey somebody. He was so desperate to fucking, change some of the previous things set in stone by Rian Johnson. And I'm actually happy with some of the stuff he did do. Like he brought the X-Wing into play near the end of the film, which was interesting. I'm glad they did stuff like that. And he saw the Porgs again and shit like that. Luke Foe's forced them jumping way too far ahead.
Jumping ahead
now.
Huh?
Are we back to the quicksand moment now?
Yeah, so we do what? Rey then's doing some training and she's really elevated, like practically flying. When could the Jedi fucking levitate that fucking high? So that's a new OP thing. But Rey is OP in this whole fucking film. There's no real need to be. Well, just because she's Palpatine's granddaughter. And so yeah, they do that. They have their moments with Leia, which of course a lot of the dialogue was weird because the Leia stuff is already pre-filmed, so they just have to react to kind of what she's saying. There's some jagged bits, and then we have the fetch quest. Find stuff and things, and find that triangle thing. So then they go to that desert planet where all the Hindus are, and they're doing the little fucking festival of color, and that's the vibe I got off of it. Okay, that was Hindu thing. Now, that's directly copied from Hindus. All right. And it was just colors and it was pretty. It was nice seeing all the colors and all that and all the different aliens. The one thing I did like about J.J. Abrams, aliens. He uses a lot of fucking aliens, and that's what we want. I rate him for the aliens stuff. And then the quicksand thingy. No, there's a chase. The bad dialogue. They fly now.
Yeah, but they can fly now.
Well, jetpacks. Yeah, like. It's not a fucking miracle. Boba Fett had a jetpack, for fuck's sake. So yeah, then they fall into the quicksand, and for some reason Rey doesn't bother to lift them all out, given how much she could do prior to this. This is the one area where she didn't have a solution to the problem, which is convenient. Fall into the pit. Funniest moment for me, C-3PO. I'm okay as well, by the way. You never asked that bit, when Poe's saying, "Oh, is everyone okay? Are you okay? Finn, are you okay?" And then C-3PO's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay too, by the way, in case you were asking." I like that. That gave me a chuckle. Then we get to the snake, and then we are introduced to force healing. No problem with that. A lot of people had a problem with that. Why? We've seen it before. I use it in games. The force healing is there.
It's a Jedi trope, man. Like force lightning is Sith. Force healing is 100% Jedi.
Exactly. It's there. It's just never been used in the films. So she heals this snake, which apparently it was a cut scene where she actually damaged it and then felt bad, then heals it. Whatever. We won't get into that. And that bit, I was just like, oh, interesting. Because of what we knew, I was just like, so that kind of ties in with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda heals. So I'm now sitting there thinking, I'm overthinking it because of how simplified the universe is for them. But I'm sitting there going, Is this baby Yoda a temporary vessel for Palpatine until they find his body and regenerate it? So that left a nice little question mark, because don't forget, baby Yoda chokes a bitch in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I remember that too, but that's because he's a product of his surroundings.
Yeah,
he's around the
yeah, he's around a bad environment, so that's fair. But yeah, it leaves that little question there. But I doubt.
I really don't want that to be the case, yeah, because
No, me neither.
for me, what bugs me sometimes is that people forget this is a universe, you know, a planet on its own. They make planets seem like small towns in Star Wars. Oh, we're gonna go to this planet. It's a fuck, and the planets. You feel like the planet's a village, but no,
Yeah,
it's a fucking planet. You know what I mean?
Planet,
That's
exactly.
There's so much shit going on all over it.
You can literally.
So,
Sorry, you can literally go around one whole planet in one film. It wouldn't make a fuck. It'd still have the same feeling of skipping towns between planets, because that's how they treat it. So they go to the desert thing because they're on the fetch quest, because they need a fetch quest, because they can't use that connection to the Force to find out what's going on anyway. And they find the dagger.
They can't use C3PO either, because they're taking him to that planet because C3PO, they need somebody to hotwire him because C3PO won't reach this.
You're jumping ahead.
No, you sure? That's
wait. We haven't got there yet. Hang on. There's a whole bit that happens before they get to that bit.
Sorry,
so the Phoenix dagger is written, for some reason, it's written in Sith language. C3PO can read it, so he reads it, but he cannot tell them what it is. There's a blocking programming of protocol droids that you cannot reiterate Sith language. It's like a protection thing. Okay, which opens up a convenient plot point. Then we have a Force connection between Kylo and Rey, and the beads that she's given earlier, he snatches them off of her, which is great. This is my favorite parts of this film are everything to do with the Force. Same as The Last Jedi. That was what I liked. This is what I liked here. That Force connection that they have. So that happens, grabs the bead. Somebody's able to find out where they're located. So obviously the First Order is going to that planet. And then we get just an absolutely fucking pointless scene where Kylo tries to run over, or he's trying to get the best out of Rey by trying to run her over, and she jumps and hacks off the fucking TIE fighter wing.
Sorry, Gene.
And Kylo walks away with no scratches.
Sorry, Gene. Just talk us because the law that was mentioned in 4 films ago. What law, mate?
What law? George Lucas's version of the Force is very claustrophobic. I didn't like his rules, so I like that it counts as obscure law. The connection.
It's weird in a way. If them two had a kid, it'd be like the Antichrist.
Just be connected with everything.
So
yeah, so they accident thing, he walks away. Then a transport vessel that captured Chewie about not translating. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's an obscure law. That's fine. You know, it's a convenient plot point for the film as well. But fine. Yeah, so they capture Chewie, doesn't put up a fight. They don't bother capturing everyone else that's on this ship that's been sitting there for God knows how many years that hasn't been touched and still works. And then there's another marketable toy in there with that droid Dio. All right. Plot hole, easy. We fill with magic or a Force. We're meant Force and we'll make it up as we go along. Oh, that's pretty much how they just made it up as not kind of made up as they went along, just conveniently used it. Anyway, so then we have the next big moment where Rey is holding on to the transport because OP Force powers. Then Kylo's trying to push it the other way. And then she gets so vexed that lightning shoots out of her hand and destroys the transport vessel.
I love that bit.
That bit was really cool. I'm not going to lie. It's really cool.
Came out of nowhere. No one expected that.
Yeah, no, but because again, you know that the implications, it's still a cool moment. It's like, yeah, I like that. And then you finally get a bit of a character moment where Ray thinks she fucked up. Because she's like,
She
oh,
killed Chewbacca.
Chewie! And then 10 seconds later, nah, Chewie's alive, mate. It's on the ship. It was a different transport vessel, which, again, a lot of people didn't see that there was more than one, but there was. But you only see one take off. So, yeah, what did you think of all
Can I
that
just
scene?
well, it's. I mean, we saw a lot of that scene in in the initial trailer with her running away from that TIE fighter of sorts, that that Imperial that boss's TIE fighter, but it's got the same sort of look as Vader's one or similar, and it's good to see that she cut it and stuff like that. Kylo Ren comes out like nothing fucking happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they fight over that. I'll be honest with you, I genuinely thought Chewbacca was dead, and I couldn't fucking believe it. Yeah, I was gutted about that. But I just want to mention Chewbacca more than anything. They did good by him in this film. I'm not sure how you feel.
No, they did. Yeah.
Because
They did really well.
my problem with Last Jedi is that Chewbacca has known Luke for 40 fucking years. Yeah, they have the same best friend. Leia is practically both their sisters. You know what I mean? They have so much in common. So you would have thought that not just knocking down his fucking door in Last Jedi, he would have thought that pretty much throughout the whole fucking movie, he'll be bugging the shit out of Luke because they've got such a connection. They're best friends themselves. Yeah. And that never happened. And just to see more emotion from Chewbacca, like when Leia died, obviously you saw his emotion there and stuff, and all these other tropes as well. He's really part of the crew. He's not just something you forget about halfway through the film. And obviously him and Lando as well, they got a connection too. It was good to see Lando in the film as well. We forgot about him. We forgot to mention him earlier.
Oh yeah, he showed up at the desert planet. Yeah,
right. It's just good to see him and Chewbacca embracing. He's still got friends from the original trilogy. He's the last real person from the original trilogy who had the biggest part in the film was Chewbacca, and I'm really glad they done him really well, and they gave him a fucking medal as well. Nice one.
That bit I just rolled my eyes. That was so transparent, but we'll get to that because that's right at the end. Yeah, Chewbacca was utilized well in this film. Like the one bit where I did actually tear up was when they tell him that Leia died and hit that raw emotion. I was just like, oh, finally something to connect with, because you love Chewbacca, you love the original characters. This is, I didn't hate the new characters; they were just underutilized. I like their introduction in The Force Awakens because you need your new characters, but after that, it's just, So yeah,
he's gone for a lot of shit. He's gone for a lot of shit. People forget, man. He's like somebody like his godson, which would be Kylo Ren, is a fucking Sith. His fucking best friend's dead. You know what I mean? He fucking Leia's dead. Fucking he's gone through so much. His best friend's been killed by his son. He's gone through a lot of shit, more shit than people will give credit for.
He saw his whole planet get wiped out.
The man.
He saw his whole planet get wiped out.
Yeah.
In Order 66 and the wars. So yeah, Chewie's the one that's been through the most shit.
God.
Hello,
Steve Buscemi's here, mate.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just saw the movie. Like literally walked in the door. Huh?
I'm guessing you loved every minute of it.
Did I like it? Yes. I felt like, remember my original theory I said a couple weeks ago, I really feel like they should split it into 2 movies and make, episode 10.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, this is very raw because I just saw it. So it literally walked in the door from it.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
But no, I mean, I liked it a lot. There was a lot in there that there is to love. But I mean, I definitely feel like there should have been an episode 9 and then an episode 10. And I don't care if it was Rise of Skywalker Part 1 and 2, or if it was like Rise of Skywalker and then Fall of the First Order or something, something gay like that. I don't know. But but I mean, it definitely felt rushed. Like waking up and your alarm didn't go off rushed. Like they were all over the place. And I didn't have a problem following. By the way, I freaking called it with Palpatine I freaking called it Rey being a Palpatine.
Oh yeah, yeah. Same from The Force Awakens. I said she's going to be related to Palpatine somehow.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Although I didn't like the fact that she was the granddaughter. I mean, it's just like then you have to add those like the then we never heard about like Palpatine's kids or anything like that. And I'm not saying he couldn't have had them, but you figure Palpatine's kids would have been kind of a big deal, Exactly. So I just figured she would be like, from one of the Emperor's concubines got pregnant, and then they just discarded the baby, like they found her, like they found the mom, and then the Emperor had her killed and discarded the kid on Jakku because it was nowhere to be found,
Yeah.
So I did like how, I really feel like the first half of the movie should have been like episode 9, and then the last half of the movie should have been like episode 10, and like they could have just spent some more time with some stuff. I feel like
finishing on at the beginning,
finishing
so
on 10, right?
It's just rushed.
Yeah, and that's why I think Disney should have came out and said, "Look, we're this." So they could even spin it like the story that J.J. Abrams wants to tell is too big for one movie, so we want to give it the proper timing. They don't even have to say, "Yeah, Rian Johnson effed it up." So
But the thing is, they added so much in this that they didn't need to. Like we touched on it earlier, so I'm just going to quickly repeat. What basically, look, me and Sam both agreed. Although we didn't want it, Kylo's redemption was nice in this. It was done well, but it shouldn't have been. It should have been irredeemable. And what we were left with the Last Jedi, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, it should have just been him rising to power and wreaking havoc through the galaxy, trying to hunt down the rebels and all of this, and just have that conflict. That's all they needed. But because the way they shoehorned in Palpatine and the fetch quests and all of that, it just threw everything off. And that's why I do watching it like it needs to be 2 films. In reality, it's fine if they'd have done that, but it could have been resolved a lot easier than they made it.
Well, and I agree with. Sorry.
No.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you because, I mean, I feel like that that Adam Driver, Ben Solo, whatever, Kylo Ren, whatever you want to call him. I feel like he probably should have been the one to kill Palpatine and then take power. But that's why I'm saying there wasn't enough time in this movie to do that whole arc, because it's like, I mean, I felt like the redemption was nice, but I feel like in the end, not at the end, but like in the long run, I feel like he should have been seduced by the dark side and taken power, and then all of the Sith would have lived in Ben Solo, Ben Solo. So, and then she had to kill him, Yeah. I feel like if you have like a Skywalker taking on all the Sith and then you kill him, that kind of brings balance. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
So I've never seen Palpatine as a self-sacrificing type. He's a scammer. He made sure that Vader was in the way he was, so that Vader would never challenge him to be the master, which is why Vader required Luke's help in Empire Strikes Back. But so it just felt a bit weird that Palpatine is finally sacrificing himself for the greater good of the Sith. I wasn't really buying that.
That's why it made more sense for Kylo to kill him. But
sorry.
So that's why it would have made more sense for Kylo to kill him, whilst Palpatine thinks he's got another puppet, and that. But imbuing into the spirits of Rey just makes no sense. Then why the fuck is his spirit in Palpatine? His spirit earlier was in fucking Snoke, okay? Because we find out he's a clone, and then he was possessed by Palpatine. So why do you need Rey then? Snoke was able to transfer force powers just like Vader was through comms, okay? So it just.
Was Snoke Palpatine? Is that what we're saying? Was Snoke Palpatine?
Snoke was
Snoke
being controlled by Palpatine.
It was being controlled by Palpatine. It was
He
in
got Snoke in fucking
spirit.
pickle jars all over at the beginning of
Yeah,
the
it was a
movie. So
clone.
surely Snoke was Palpatine.
It was a clone possessed by Palpatine.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
Well, and they
Yeah,
did
so that's what I'm
a
saying.
lot. What?
That's what I'm saying. So Snoke was but when I say possessed, I know that's what I was trying to get at. So he was Palpatine.
Yeah.
So
That's
he
what they're
fucking
trying to say.
outwitted by fucking Kylo Ren when he got cut in half. But that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
fucking
Palpatine knew it wasn't him. He wouldn't know. But here's the thing, Zam, and I thought of this during the movie. Whether Rian Johnson meant this or not, I mean, Palpatine was using Snoke as a pawn, and then so when Kylo Ren killed Snoke, basically that's what the Emperor wanted. Well, that's what Palpatine wanted to give Kylo Ren the supreme reign of the First Order, so then Palpatine could manipulate Kylo Ren. You know,
well, that's something
what they talk about all these visions and stuff like that in the movies. How do we know that Palpatine might have planned the whole thing where he knew they both would show up, and then he sucks their life force out. Like, I mean,
convenient.
No, he kind of felt surprised by it when he did it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? Fuck giving my powers to you. I'll just take your shit instead, which is more Palpatine in my opinion. And that's what he ended up fucking doing. And I felt like I've seen shit like that before from other films. I can't pinpoint it. No, even that bit between Kylo Ren, who became Ben Solo, and Han Solo. I'm jumping to that. Once that scene happened, I instantly went to Batman versus Superman, where Clark Kent has a chat with his dad, Kevin Costner. It
That's
reminded me of
exactly
that.
what I thought of.
That Man of Steel.
That was in Man of Steel.
That was
Man of Steel. It's a fucking blur now, man. I have fucking no idea. But that's the first thought that came in my mind. But props to Harrison Ford, because he had to fucking do it because Carrie Fisher was gone. So he must have got paid fucking beautiful for that cameo. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, but in the way they handled it, and I know you guys have probably talked about this, but the way they handled Carrie Fisher was amazing. Like,
really,
I feel like they did. Like, for what they had to work with, and I mean, they couldn't really CGI. I felt like they did a great job. Like, I mean,
that's the thing. 1 second. Like I said, with the whole Carrie Fisher thing, it was fine. They had to bounce the dialogue off of what she'd already said. So in some areas, it's a bit like, oh. But fine, I've seen worse. But they said they weren't going to use CGI, and they did. All right. So they didn't even need to kill her off. They could have paid more respect to her by keeping her alive, by using the CGI. Because that bit where she connects, you could tell that's makeup CGI area. And then they have the flashback of her that actually trained as a Jedi. So again, it kind of ignores The Last Jedi. She trained as a Jedi with Luke, right? So they completely CGI'd her there, and so they didn't even need to kill her, really.
I had no problem with
it. And the way they killed her was so fucking stupid as well. It's like, oh, I have to do something now. What's that something? Ben, huh? Stab. Oh, and she's dead. Fuck off. Carry on.
I kind of liked it. So we're agree to disagree, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys, by any chance, do you guys ever watch that YouTube channel Beyond the Trailer?
Not really.
Can't remember.
Girl Grace, she talks about films and stuff. She brought up something which I never really thought of, but it makes total sense. Apart from maybe Chewbacca and possibly Billy D. Williams, the other original characters do not feel like the original characters from the original trilogy. Carrie Fisher doesn't feel like Princess Leia. Harrison Ford didn't feel like Han Solo, and fucking Mark Hamill, he was probably the closest, but he didn't feel properly like Luke Skywalker in this sequel trilogy. I'm not sure how you guys feel.
It's been 30 years, so you figure these characters have changed.
Acting roles of characters they've played before on 3 occasions. This is what people do. I mean, fucking Sylvester Stallone still feels like Rambo when he's doing his shit. Arnold
Right,
Schwarzenegger
but-
still feels like a Terminator.
Le-
Yeah, these
Leia
guys
is
don't
no
feel
longer
like
a little
they're
kid.
old characters.
Yeah, but
Sorry?
Leia is no longer a kid in this. She's a general.
But then
She's
I didn't
evolved
feel
as a
any of that
person.
fire. I didn't
Huh?
feel any of that fire inside Leia in Carrie Fisher's
Because
performances.
she's grown and
in all
matured.
three.
She's imbued with the Force, so it's probably a lot calmer now than what she was back then. She's a lot more matured. So the way she
Dude,
was done is
Skywalkers are
fine
hotheads, man.
for the most part. Luke, though,
Skywalkers are hotheads.
Luke, they fucked up big time. Han,
Okay, fine. What about Han Solo? Nothing. Not a moment like him.
no, yeah, Luke, garbage.
Listen, seriously, like
Han-
Han Solo. Sorry, let me get this in. Han Solo, when he got fucking stabbed by Kylo Ren, he should have slapped his son, not caress his cheek. That's Han Solo. You know, I know that's Han Solo. I know it's fucking Han Solo. That's what he would fucking do. Yeah, he wouldn't fucking caress it. Oh man, it pisses me off, man. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just in the chat, guys, I don't know what that name is, but we're not hating on the movie. We're talking about points that
we're just talking about the stupid things, and we're going to touch on the good things as well. There were good things in this film. Yeah, like I said, out of the three, this is the one I enjoyed the most. But when you dissect it, it's just like, ugh. But I'll watch it.
I'll give it a B minus. You know, going by Chris Duckman style. I'll give it a B minus.
Yeah, I mean, like I would give it probably more of a B plus, A minus for me. I know you guys, you know, but it's like, you know, but that's what I'm saying. Like we're just So don't think we're hating on the movie, guys. It's just we're discussing, and you just happened to come in when we were talking about.
So I want to try to get back on to track because we were doing like certain scenes and all of that. So we just done the bit where Chewie been through a lot of shit, and obviously he's alive on the ship, and they're like, oh, you know, interrogate him. I forget where it goes from there. Oh, from there, because they got the knife, so they think shit, we're fucked. And that's when C-3PO brings up the thing where he goes, yeah, it's a shame that it's all stuck in my head, but I can't translate it because there's a block in the protocol and all of that. So they go to another planet on another quest because Poe happens to know somebody that can translate it. And here we get one of the best characters, what was his name?
Dio.
No, not Dio. Dio's garbage marketing toy.
I love Dio, by the way.
Yeah.
I love Dio.
Babu Freak.
That's marketing right there.
Yeah.
I love Dio. Dio's awesome. I love Dio more than BB-8.
Okay, fair enough. Babu Freak. We've got a great little character there. Prior to that, we had... they land on this planet. I think it's called Kasim, something like that. Kasim.
That's Kerry Russell's planet,
because they blew it up, so that's why I remember it. They get on this planet, and then obviously the First Order's there. They're doing raids, so you see they're starting to invade planets and all of that. And then we bump into one of the most pointless characters in the film, which is Kerry Russell's character. Okay, 1 minute, Rey's lot are attacked. They're overpowered by Rey, and then, you know, Kerry, I like her. She beat me up. What? Fuck off. She hates Poe. 1 minute she's hating on Poe. 5 minutes later, she's liking on Poe.
Yeah, that's a typical man-woman relationship.
Yeah, and then she has an item that's convenient for the story, which is this little chip that she was going to ring coin thing she was going to use to get off the planet that can bypass the vessels because it's got like allowances, and then she just gives it to them, whatever. Resistance.
Well, that's some of the stuff I feel like that could have been fleshed out over a whole nother movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Let's see. So Gus says there are things missing and stuff not explained, but I have no expectations after The Last Jedi. That's why I liked it. You know, Gus, that's probably why I know I'm shitting on this film. Why I liked it more than because I had no investment in it anymore. None. So my expectations were low. It's a 50-50 film for me, you know, which is saying a lot because Last Jedi I fucking hate with a passion. So anyway, so yeah, they do that. And Babu Freak's a great character. I like the voicing, funny. And then you think, oh God, C-3PO is going to have his memory erased. forever, which I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. It's a droid.
Again, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, again.
Again.
He got it wiped at the end of the prequels.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So why does J.J. Abrams thinks, again, it's for that impact moment that they can stick in a fucking trailer that is hollow and empty. You don't get a look at my face one time.
He had a good arc, to be fair, Ginge, C-3PO.
I just want to. It's just that bit. Just that bit was just that.
I just want to also add.
You're gonna get your memory right. Okay, that's fine. You're a droid.
I just want to also add, that just as C-3PO and Chewbacca have done well, R2-D2 in this entire trilogy has been criminally underused. I mean, he's one of the best fucking characters in Star Wars. You know, people love him as much as, you know, and the way they used him in this trilogy was a joke. Absolute disgusting. That I'm upset about.
They can't market him. You know, they needed something new to market. So
well,
that's
they always push BB-8. I mean, I kind of knew R2 was taking a back seat when I kind of wish they would have destroyed R2. If they were going to go the whole BB-8 route, I kind of wish that they would have blown up R2. Or they would have just stuck
by
to
episode 9 at least.
Yeah, they should have blown up R2. I totally agree. You know,
but they had to
people would have been more upset about that than anything. Oh, it would have been great. It would have been.
They had to stick to the narrative of keeping those him and 3PO in all 9 movies. Carl I just want to add a couple of things. Carl said 7 to 9 is teenage fan fiction that isn't canon. The saga ends on Endor. I think a lot of purists will agree. I just want to give a shout out to Anthony Daniels. You know, the guy's been in all 9 Star Wars movies, which is quite remarkable when you think about it. C-3PO.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
look, C-3PO was fantastic in this film. He was very funny. I alluded to it earlier when they fall through the sand, and then Poe is saying, "Oh, is that? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And then C-3PO's like, "I'm okay too, sir." In case you were wondering.
Yeah, he's so 3PO.
Fucking brilliant. I pissed myself laughing. Love that.
He needed it. They used him really well in this, but he was pretty much in everything.
That little bit there was just like, oh, but you're a droid. You and then again, R2-D2 has actually backed up his memory, so it comes to nothing. Which, you know.
Well, can I just throw out there? I know you guys are talking about Chewie a little bit later. I kind of didn't like how they, I was mortified when I thought they killed off Chewie. But then they immediately undone it. We knew Chewie was alive, and they're sitting around going for Chewie, and I'm like, I know he's alive. If you want to bring him back towards the end, I'm glad he's alive. But it's they the way that happened, it totally pulled the rug right out from under that whole thing when Rey blew up the transport, and then the next scene we see Chewie.
Yeah,
and he was yeah, but we didn't even have a chance to sit in it.
Yeah, the film doesn't give you enough time to take in any kind of moments. It just moves at such a pace.
Yeah,
that's I totally agree with you. It would have been much better if later on you found out, because I saw 2 transport ships there, or even 3 ships, because I think you had the Ren's ship and then 2 of those other ships. So I knew he wasn't fucking dead. They don't know that, but a lot of audience didn't clock on that there were more transport ships. So having
I didn't catch that at first,
and have it that he fucking just breaks out of there and wreaks havoc. That would have been so much more fun. But yeah, I again 100% agree. So we're on this planet. Sorry, go on, Sam.
She should have. She felt his presence when he was on the Star Destroyer. So she would have felt his presence when he was on that ship or not. If you want,
good point.
It would have been dead, so she wouldn't have felt his presence on that ship. Oh, before it took off. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, see, plot holes.
Because if he was still alive.
Yeah. So yeah, then I think whilst they're on that planet, they find out that Chewie's alive.
And then we get to find out who the spy is, because I had no idea it was a fucking spy.
Which again was, stupid. I mean, look, the guy kind of plots along and is a bit of a fucking calamity throughout. And then if it turned out that he was a spy all along with no ulterior motives of just to see Kylo fail, but he was like at the whole time, like, you know, just somebody just didn't like what the First Order was doing, it would have been fine. A nice little redemption for his character. The fact they're just like, oh, I want Kylo to fail.
We saw him in his full fucking Nazi fucking pose, barking orders before that fucking Star Destroyer or where that space planet fucking shot those beams out, destroying all those fucking planets. So for him to somehow be a spy all along would have felt wrong. It really would have. I like the reason. True. I like the reason they kind of gave. It makes more sense. It's personal. That's why he's doing it. But it's still stupid. It is still.
I agree with you on that part. It's like when Huck said he was a traitor, I laughed for a second, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was like, I mean,
I'm saying, Anyway, sorry, go on. Yeah, go
because
on.
basically, if they got away, it could because I don't think Hux wants the First Order to lose. I think he wants Kylo Ren to lose. So if it was in a moment where like but this is the whole Rush thing. They could have kind of done that plot line out a little bit, and maybe him becoming this, because all he got was what he got shot like a scene later, and then that was it. Like Hux is dead, even though he's been. And actually, I like the Hux character. He's a Chris Jericho character, if you know wrestling terms. You love to hate him, but he's so good at it, like, and that's why I'm like, he didn't need a redemption, but it's just like, I wanted something more for him than just getting shot by the new Vice Admiral wannabe Palpatine dick licker. Like,
that's what Hux should have been. They're basically saying that's what Hux should have been.
Yeah,
this guy, bullshit.
They could have had their spy. It happens, but it didn't. It shouldn't have been Hux. I totally agree. I'm just saying, again, the cards are dealt with. But no, I take it back because Sam was absolutely right about the Kyle. No, the force healing doesn't ruin a lot of canon, because there is force healing and it's used in the lore that Disney won't use.
I mean, before the books became legend and no longer canon, force healing was a very common thing. Yeah, so I have no problem with them using. Obviously, for people who only know Star Wars through the movies, it's going to be an issue for them. But the reason why Star Wars is so big, in my opinion, is that people know it more than just the movies. So this should be it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mean,
exactly. And we got a glimpse of it even before in The Mandalorian with Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did see with Baby Yoda
very early on that he could do it, and then he actually does it in Episode 7. So I don't want people blaming the film for that either, because they show it in The Mandalorian.
Well, and I think isn't that one of the reasons why they had that episode come out before The Force Awakens?
Yeah,
I thought I read somewhere that there's like,
it's a tactical move to maybe people would sigh less.
Well, if we're all in love with The Mandalorian, and then like we shit on this movie for force healing, we're like, then we can't say anything because we love The Mandalorian. No, I'm kidding.
This is it. I mean, okay, the difference being, but then, like I think they did what they did with Baby Yoda to kind of deflect away from Rey, but didn't work. It didn't work, which is a shame. I mean, she's a bit OP in this, but it's still cool moments like the Force lightning bit, the healing, great. I loved, like I said to Zam, I fucking loved everything they did with the Force in this. That connection that Kylo and Rey have, and it gives you one of the cooler moments as well. But we'll get to that.
I wasn't a fan of any of the lightsaber action in this. I mean, I like the way they used it in the fucking when they were like in each other's space and they were fighting that way. And that's clever because of the concept of it all. But when they were fighting, was it on Endor on that ocean? Was that Endor?
It's not Endor. It's a planet that's because Endor's the moon. But
let's keep it.
Anyway, the point is, but that fight was shit. You look at the fights in the prequel. The lightsaber fights in the whole of this
trilogy. The lightsaber fights in this whole trilogy have been anus. Garbage. Absolutely.
I liked a couple of the lightsaber fights in this movie only because it felt more on par with what we had in the original trilogy rather than the prequels. And here's why. Because I feel like that, like, you know, like Rey doesn't have a lot to go off of in lightsaber training. She was training more with the Force rather than like, because when you had the Jedi Temple and everything, they probably trained them how to be like super mega ultra, you know, lightsaber duelists. But Rey was much better with the Force, and that's why she seemed more OP, but her lightsaber skills were lacking because you got like Anakin and Obi-Wan and all those who trained for their whole lives with lightsabers. This whole trilogy took place over what, maybe 5 years, maybe. So it's like, it's not like Rey, and I mean, granted, Kylo probably should have been a better lightsaber duelist than Rey in all actuality, but then I mean, if she romfle stomped Kyle, or if she romfle stomped Rey, then
answered your own question there, because Kylo was training as a Padawan. He was training. He wasn't even that old when Luke sensed the dark in him and all this kind of stuff. So he should wipe the fucking floor with Rey when it comes to saber combat. When it comes,
I agree with you on that.
We could have a different thing. No, but that's what I mean. Like, that's why I say that the saber conflicts was us in this.
It was just shot badly. It was just
badly
really
shot, badly choreographed. It just didn't feel even like just look at the fight in Empire Strikes Back, how beautifully choreographed that fight is. You know, you don't get that in here. Kylo knows saber combat. So what we got here was like just baseball bats fucking thrashing at each other. Yeah,
and a few little clips.
The one fan service they didn't do and they should have done was a saber conflict. Just J.J. Abrams didn't like, said it looks too choreographed. We fucking know we know you can't even do good dialogue, let alone fucking focus on saber conflict, for fuck's sake, you dickhead. So yeah, anyway, so what do? They go on the ship. Then they have another Force connection, another cool moment.
I think that's one of the only things that I hated from The Last Jedi that actually worked in this movie. What, like, you know, like I hated the Force connection in The Last Jedi. Like, I thought that was dumb. And then but in this movie, I felt like it worked.
Well, they progressed on it. That's why they continued.
Huh?
Which is one.
It was the best part of The Last Jedi, and they ran with it, which is the one good thing they did. They took it and they ran with it. I guarantee there was no plans for it originally until Rian Johnson gave it, and that's the only praise I'll give Johnson. Is just like, oh fuck it, let's just have some fun with the Force, and he kind of did that. So yeah, they have that weird Force connection. And
but with Snoke dead, I mean, so is that just like a residual connection from what Snoke and / Palpatine did? Or was Palpatine still doing it after Snoke died?
Said that he orchestrated the whole thing, which was the dumb part of The Last Jedi. That bit I just disagree with. But then you're right. Did Palpatine orchestrate all of that connection?
Well, if they can retcon it in, they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all depends.
They can retcon it in. But just like, I enjoyed that part. That was the one thing that intrigued me, which is saying a lot because nothing else really was like grabbing me. Anyway, then what happens? I can't remember what happened.
You know how little we've spoken about Finn so far in this whole topic.
Because he's
kind of showing
useless.
It's a real shame because he became useless because of Rian Johnson, which is why I have an issue with this fucker. I mean, you are asked to take over. You got this particular character. Okay, fine. With Daisy Ridley's character, but you've got to do something better with Finn than take him to fucking Canto Bite, for fuck's sake. And they really tried to expand on him, but it was just too little too late by this movie, making him Force sensitive. I love the idea of that. If they went the right way with Finn, he could have been a fucking Jedi himself by episode 9. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they just didn't do that in episode 8. So it's just something missed. And this is where I agree with Roberto. Maybe if we have an episode 10, he could be a Jedi. But who the fuck are they going to fight now? All the bad guys are dead. You know what I mean? So... Oh god!
But here's my thing. Also, I think they kind of went the Leia route with Finn. Like they reversed it. Like in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, you kind of saw Leia obviously had like Force stuff going on, but it wasn't like she was like super Jedi like Luke. So it's like
Yeah,
I think they were doing that with Finn in this trilogy. Was like Finn was like,
yeah, but
he can tap into the Force, but it's not like, like super.
shoehorn because it made sense with Leia because we all knew she was fucking Luke's sister. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With Finn, like he was just a fucking stormtrooper, and then we found out all these ex-stormtroopers. I never knew that. Look, I have no problem with female stormtroopers, but you could tell by the body shape of every fucking stormtrooper that not one of them is a girl. So when I found out this girl was a female stormtrooper, it just took me back a little bit. Like, is that possible?
Some of the voices of the stormtroopers in this, you could clearly tell that for once they actually used female.
Really?
Yeah, there were a couple female voices.
Yeah, there were female voices.
I never noticed.
Again, it should be like that, What's the
no, I have no problem with it. I just never noticed. It just threw me off. But then apparently all these good ones are Force sensitive or whatever, or it's like
that. But that's kind of what I was. That's kind of what I was going to get to. Is maybe all because they said that all of us kind of felt this thing that we wouldn't. We weren't, and I get it. It's coincidental that their entire battalion wouldn't kill these civilians, but maybe it was the Force, and then maybe that the Force is strong enough to plow through that programming that the First Order puts those kids through. And I mean, it had the same thing happen to Finn. So maybe it's like all of these people are Force sensitive, and hey, look, we've got a whole new Jedi type thing brewing.
Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily have to end up like not everybody that's sensitive with the Force ends up being a Jedi anyway.
Yeah,
Mas Kanata, she's not she's sensitive with the Force, but she's not a Jedi or
the end character Rogue One was Force sensitive, the blind guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he wasn't a Jedi.
No, but I'm saying he was Force sensitive.
But he was sensitive to the Force. So no, I like that bit. Again, that was interesting. Something with the Force. It's like it doesn't necessarily have to just be in fucking Jedis. It's because Obi-Wan explains it. It binds. It's everything. It's in everyone. It binds everything around. So on occasions people be Force sensitive, and it was such an interesting part to Finn that went nowhere. Rey, I have to tell you something. Never tells her anything. The rest of us know that was probably what he had to tell her. But it never went anywhere. They're probably going to bring out fucking comic books to try and answer their fuck ups. But no, I found that interesting in Rey, in Finn.
I think there is going to be an episode 10, but it's not going to be like Skywalker related. And I think a lot of the you're going to hate me, Ginger, but from what I've understood, there's been talks. Yeah, I know. There's been talks about an episode 10 with the cast, but it's not going to be like Skywalker related. Like, some of the characters are going to come back. It's going to, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they'll kind of,
Chewbacca has to come back. And Billy D. Williams is just too old, but anyone can play Chewbacca if they're tall enough. So
but that's what I'm saying is like,
that would be good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, but that's what I'm saying is that they can do an episode 10, but 9 was the definitive end of the Skywalker saga. Now we can move to the future. My favorite character, and I don't know if you guys will like this or not, my favorite character from this trilogy is Poe Dameron. Poe's amazing. I love that character. I mean, that's because but I would love to see,
he was underutilized.
Yeah, well, but that's what I'm saying though. I would love to see more of him. So I was thinking if they keep going past this whole Skywalker thing and they do an episode 10, but it's not like you have a Jedi, but it's like you don't have to like do Sith and Jedi and the dark side something. Like maybe there's a galactic warlord who they're trying to take down. And I mean, there'll of course be remnants of the First Order, just like there were remnants of the Empire and the Mandalorian. I mean, as long as they don't tread the same beaten path, and I'm very happy that they didn't.
The Mandalorians have been known as to be the Jedi's second biggest enemy. So maybe they could be an enemy. They could bring in the Yuuzhan Vong, which is from Legends.
That's their enemy as well, aren't they?
Yeah, but I do like the idea of them making an episode 10, and it doesn't even have to have Daisy Ridley in it, but as long as it's, I would like to see maybe Finn progress. Just give him that opportunity to be something more, because you felt like after he just became a rebel or nothing more, and you felt there was more to his story arc the moment he decided not to kill that family. So
I think one of the bigger mistakes they made was with Finn was in episode 7, where they said he was just a cleaner.
Yeah.
If they never said that, okay,
Oh, come
if they
on.
never said that, okay, he could have been the most valuable asset they had, because he could be like, oh, I know the mapping of this Star Destroyer. You know, we're trained to learn about all the ships and how they function. We're trained this and that. You know, he could have been such a valuable, but they just reduced him to nothing but a cleaner. You know, otherwise he should have been the one to say, look, you know, you could treat him as a bit of a coward that kind of comes into his own and gets some balls and all this kind of shit, and then becomes like a leader, a ground assault leader, soldier type thing. He leads.
It did
like
feel
a
forced
resistant.
when it did feel forced when he made him general. You know, like I'm like
Yeah.
I get Poe being the new general, but it's like he's like, I can't do this without you. I need you to be a general too. And it's like that feels. I mean, that make him a commander, maybe. You know, that feels really forced.
Yeah, it did. It did. Of course, it did. You know, and then we have like
all the top guys become generals. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think of Lando's involvement in the movie?
Babs.
Bad?
What do you think of Lando?
Oh,
Lando.
I liked it. I mean, it's a glorified cameo, like I mean, the rest of them were, you know. Here's my thing: is that with this new trilogy, I like the way they utilize the old characters. I know some people don't probably like it. One of the few things I liked about The Last Jedi was how they treated Luke in the beginning of the movie, how he was a hermit and he didn't want to, you know, help or whatever. I mean, it made sense, because what do all Jedis do when they fail? Well, they go into hiding. So it's like,
they go to the dark side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, that's one of the things I liked about, you know, so I kind of like the way they utilize a lot of these characters. I like the fact that they killed Han Solo in the first one, because it kind of solidified Kylo's, you know, at that point, turning to the dark side. And, you know, with Carrie Fisher, you know, like, you know, with her untimely passing, I feel like they could have done more with her. But at the same time, I kind of like how they used her. I mean, she's a leader. She's not a front. She's not someone who's in the middle of the battle shooting blasters like she was in the, you know, in the original trilogy.
She wasn't vocal enough, mate. She wasn't vocal enough, because you know why? Because she's been smoking 40 a fucking day since she quit Star Wars. That's why she was doing so much fucking coke. Yeah, after all of that shit. That's why.
Well, we're talking about Leia. We're not talking about Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I'm talking about the actress trying to portray Leia, and she couldn't give a performance like she once did because she hasn't got it in her anymore. You know what I mean? She just can't fucking do it, and it's a shame. Really, it's a real shame. I personally disagree with you about her coming back being a lead. I don't think she portrayed it well at all. I thought she was one of the worst characters of the original trilogy in all of the movies.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair. On the Lando thing, apparently there's a whole fucking scene that they cut, where, you know, the other escaped stormtroopers that they meet on the planet, that's supposed to be Lando's daughter, who was stolen from her when she was a kid, and that's why he was on that planet where Rey was, the desert one, waiting in case she kind of showed up. Okay. Cut it out, didn't allude to it. So when they're sitting next to each other at the end of the film, it's just creepy old dudes.
I was about to say that gave me very creepy vibes, but yeah, that did give me very creepy vibes. But at the same time, I thought in the back of my head, oh, well, she's probably Lando's daughter or granddaughter. But it's like, you're right. It's like there's no mention of Lando being like, you know, there was an arc there for Lando where he's like, oh, well, the First Order stole my daughter, yada yada yada, you know, or something like that. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, oh, there could have been 2 movies here that could have been that could have been at least fleshed out better. And both of them didn't have to be 2.5-hour movies. One could have been like under 2 hours, the other one could have been like just under 2 hours. You know.
That whole story arc, in my opinion, will be retconned in a book.
Yeah, of course it will be. Of course it will be. Or they release a special DVD with all the cut shit in
there. Because we generally don't know. Like, Lando's still a bit of an enigma, and we didn't, you know, like he's got other intentions as well sometimes. So, you know, him looking for his daughter, if that was the case, and she turns out to be it, and it's the will of the Force and all that bollocks. Yeah, if they could get in, but I wish they did it in the films instead.
Yeah,
It'd be a lot better.
Wait, you know what I want? I want a road trip movie where Lando goes and finds all of his kids all over the galaxy. You could have one of them. You could have one of them be Donald Glover,
and he has like a droid kid as well.
Did you see No, but when they met him on the Hindu planet, yeah, the first thing he says to the new crew is, "How's Leia?" I mean, Han's dead now. I'll go up there. She's a Han in the way. You all right with that, Chewbacca, old buddy?
Fuck Chewie as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like they should. Yeah, that's what half the holiday special is half of those are Lando's kids with Chewie's mom.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting because then you have Donald Glover as his son. Like, obviously they would look similar because yada yada. But I think honestly, we should pitch this to Disney as a comedy.
Oh man, that'll freak me out. No, you can't have Donald
Glover. But let's put Lando in.
Lando Shags.
His son.
The Tales of Lando the Whore.
Lando Calhorian, a Star Wars story.
Oh,
yeah, well, you like to fuck robots now, so
yeah. I like the idea. I like the idea of Lando just being pansexual. I like the idea. It's just like, I'll fuck it. I don't care. It's a female. I'll fuck it. It's male. I'll fuck it. It's got 17,000 eyes and a tentacle. I'll fuck it.
You fucking toilets, man. That's for sure.
I love it. Just fuck it. Lando's catchphrase. Oh, fuck it. Yeah.
Disney Plus series coming out.
Yeah, Disney Plus and probably Hulu. But,
regarding Poe, by the way, regarding Poe, Poe for me just basically felt like this version's Han Solo, like the Rebel Hans, the Resistance Han Solo.
Who?
And Poe Dameron.
Yeah,
I mean, everything about him was fucking Han Solo. Everything. The fact, other than him not being a fucking.
I feel like he was a squad leader. Like, I mean,
look, he might not be a smuggler, but pretty much he follows a similar characteristics of of Han Solo. They're quite rebellious, against authority. They're charming, they're witty, they're smooth talkers. They're easy to get along with at the same time. They're not necessarily bad people.
That's any good-looking guy. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, no, but here's the thing about Poe is just like he's a squadron leader. I always felt like he was kind of like Leia and Han mixed together. Like, he's a natural born leader. He just doesn't know it yet. And just, but he's also a great fighter pilot. With Han Solo, he was always running. He's more like Finn. He's always like, I'm in it for the money. I'm trying to get out.
Character-wise, the way they were portrayed.
Yeah, but even but with their story arcs and I feel like his character was more like Finn's.
Yeah, they had different intentions.
Yeah, they had different intentions, but
their characters are really similar.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think he was more like Leia in the original trilogy than anything else. Just a better fighter pilot.
I can see that as well.
Where were we? Planet thingy. Anyway, let's just fast forward. They land on the planet. They have a lightsaber fight. Then Leia just uses all her powers to connect with Ben and just go Ben, and then get stabbed. And you think, oh, Kylo Ren, they killed him off here. Awesome. No, Rey heals him. Then they have a moment, and then he turns to the lights, or begins to, and we see Han Solo pop up in that vision there. People are saying, how is Han Solo a Force Ghost? It's not glowing blue, you thick cunt.
Yeah, no, that was just in it. I think that was in Kylo's head, him struggling with himself.
It's his emotions projected out with his struggle.
Yeah,
because they say that good people can turn bad, and it could be a really massive turn for you. But it's no different the other way around. This is a bad person turning good, and he just has to make that step. And throwing that lightsaber away, was it?
Yeah. And then Rey goes into the Death Star, so we get the moment. The throne survived, and then an absolute pointless bit, which goes through some doors and sees the dark Rey, or whatever.
Yeah, that was trailer bait. Like, that's all that was.
Yeah. course it
But
was.
regarding outside of the trailer bait, that was just basically a callback to the tree in Empire Strikes Back where Luke fights himself as Vader.
Absolutely pointless. No need for
No,
it.
yeah, I feel like it was pointless too.
Pointless.
Yeah, I
pointless.
agree. It was pointless.
Yeah. So then she gets the thing. Where is Kylo meet down there first, and then they have the fight up above?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So anyway, she destroys the quest piece. Kylo destroys the quest piece that they're after. And then after she stabs him, I think she fucks off in his TIE fighter.
Yeah.
It disappears. He's like, oh, I failed. And she goes back to not Jakku. Oh, fuck. What's the planet that Luke was hiding on?
I don't remember the name of it.
Goes back to Luke's planet in Ireland.
Luke Land.
Yeah, that's the island. It's in Ireland because that's where they film it. And she set the TIE fighter alight. And she's just going to become a hermit because...
That's what Jedis do.
Fuck it.
Yeah, because she's scared, she doesn't want to be seduced by Palpatine and get that granddad dick in her or whatever. And then she throws it away, and then Luke pops up as a Force Ghost, grabbing it. Another cool moment that I enjoyed.
Ginger, I had no idea that that's what she was doing.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Went to that fucking planet to live as a fucking hermit. I never even realized that. I did realize when Luke caught the fucking the lightsaber, and saying it's something like this should be respected, which was a fuck you to Rian Johnson for the beginning of.
Yeah,
well, even Luke said
fuck you to Rian Johnson.
Well, and even Luke said I was wrong, and I think that was kind of them channeling Rian Johnson, that version of Luke that Rian Johnson had as I was wrong, which is a great character moment and big fuck you to Rian Johnson.
Yep, I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. But again, given what they did with like Yoda and all of this, and the fact that Luke was able to hold the fucking ghost, the ghost thing, was able to hold the lightsaber, why is he just restricted to that planet then? You're not restricted to that fucking planet. Obviously, we know.
No, he's not. Yeah, we know that.
So why does he only show up then? He could have easily guided Rey through her training. We could have had more Luke, but we get him in this cameo. He could have been there with Leia the whole time as well, connected as a Force ghost, trying to redeem himself for what happened in The Last Jedi. So again, it was a missed opportunity, but it was still a cool moment when he showed up. And then he lifts up the TIE fighter, which happens to work. Sorry, the X-Wing. And off she fucking goes. So, thoughts on that?
I actually, seeing Mark Hamill reprising Luke Skywalker anytime is just fantastic. And it's good to see the Luke Skywalker, even though he was dead, it was good to see the Luke Skywalker I recognized, because the Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, honestly, even when he redeemed himself at the end, I didn't recognize that Luke Skywalker at all. But this
I didn't like Luke at the entire end of the series, like the entire end of that movie. I thought it was a cheap, stupid ripoff.
The Last Jedi, you mean?
Yeah, of The Last Jedi, yes.
Yeah.
He was a fucking decoy. He killed himself to be a decoy. He didn't even fly to the fucking planet. He could have got there, but nevertheless, even though we only had him for a few minutes, I love this Luke Skywalker. He was more positive. He felt like the right sort of person. He's just right. And this is one of the reasons why I like the film, because I felt they were trying to correct the things which Rian Johnson did wrong. And that is that's why I give this film the credit not many people think it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. So after that, they get the location of the planet where the Sith are and all those fucking Star Destroyers, and how are they able to exist? They have all the staff there. Why they're just sitting there for God knows how long? And anyway, another stupid fucking plot hole. But they go to that planet. Yeah, they look new. They even had one ready out there, and it destroys the fucking Kassim planet. So
and they all had Death Star weapons on them.
Yeah, this is my issue.
Weapons. What is this trilogy's obsession with having planet killer weapons? What the fuck,
dude? If I like, I played a lot of X-Wing and TIE Fighter and all that growing up. I mean, I got like heart palpitations when I saw all those Star Destroyers. I was like, oh, like without planet killers, that's a massive amount of Star Destroyers. I think that's more than the original Imperial fleet had.
Right. So why do you fucking need? Why does Palpatine need to embody somebody's body in order to fucking conquer the galaxy again? You know, and where did all these things come from? How do people not know they are being built? How far out is this fucking planet? Where are they getting all the stuff from? Why, you know, all these troops, all the resources needed, and it's all kept on one planet under wraps. It's like, how? Why?
Everyone of the Star Destroyers is a planet destroyer. It's incredible.
Yeah, fuck off with that shit. I'm sorry.
They're obsessed. You are right. They're obsessed with it. Well, that's what happened. That's the thing with J.J. Abrams. He goes back to the well because he thinks he's a Star Wars fan, but he's a filmmaker going back to the well. And while Rian Johnson was never a Star Wars fan, he's a disgrace to the film industry.
Yeah,
you know. Let me tell you one thing about Rian Johnson. Yeah, even though I heard Knives Out is a good movie, I haven't seen it. But his stock as a director has fallen so much that they couldn't put his name on that film initially. You know, his name is in the small credits, but his name is not above the film or alongside the film because they don't want the film to lose any money, but they feel that people will boycott it because of what he done with Last Jedi. So we all know Last Jedi shit.
Yeah. So, right.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I forgot what happened. So they go, and then the rebels will go there as well, completely outnumbered, and think
the first battalion of rebels, that is.
Yeah. Anyway, so then Rey meets Palpatine, and they have their whatever fucking moment. And Kylo also makes it to that planet. And
he's not Kylo, he's Ben Solo now, mate. He's Ben Solo.
Ben Solo makes that planet. And then we have a really cool moment. The Knights of Ren, who are completely fucking useless in this film.
Once again, you've got to blame Rian Johnson for that because he never fucking used them.
Yeah, of course. You know, he's getting beat up. She can sense it. So they have a really cool moment where she has a lightsaber, puts it behind her back, and then Kylo then pulls it out. So there's that transfer of matter, and he whoops them all up. I thought that was a really cool moment. I really enjoyed that bit. And then they both head towards the, you know, obviously Ben shows up with Palpatine together, and they called their. He's like, "Ooh, you must have a unique connection to the Force, a dyad." As it is. So we have a dyad, and he alludes to it saying something I have not, that hasn't been heard of for thousands of years. So that, you know, if they go back and do like the Old Republic, you could have something like that as well. So at least they kind of plant that in there, that it's not a one-off, the connection that Kylo and Rey have. So I thought that bit was really good. But then we get the hamming up of Ian McDermott. And then the more rebels come as well. And now before that, what did we have? Finn, for some reason, you know. Oh, fuck.
Finn knows where the fucking beacon is, isn't it? He knows where the beacon. Well,
there's a beacon that they can only get to by the ground. What's the fucking point?
Navigation.
The spaceships can literally go down there and shoot it. And then
I didn't understand that either. It seemed very Return of the Jedi. It's like they're trying. Like I always thought in Return. Well, I guess in Return of the Jedi, did the shield generator have a shield around it?
The shield generator, no.
So why?
Okay, so fast and protected that they had to blow it up from the inside.
Yeah,
it wasn't a shield generator. It was a
navigation. They couldn't bombard it.
They could have easily bombarded it.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's kind of the same thing as Return of the Jedi. It's like you got this array that the array's protecting the Death Star, but what's protecting the array? And it's like when they got there and they're like, oh no, the shields are still up. Well, let's just go down to the planet and blow up the array that's protecting the Death Star. It's like the surprise is already out. Like, cat's out of the bag.
Right, exactly.
And I didn't like that whole part.
Interesting part of Return of the Jedi. For
Actually,
sure.
Roberto, no, mate. They could that fucking planet was fucking protected to the teeth by the Empire, and you had to have that code. Remember the code? Yeah, and that's when fucking Vader felt Luke was on that ship and stuff, and he goes, "I'm going to put us in danger." Come on, guys.
Right. Okay.
Hang on. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. But
yeah,
at this point, you have the entire Rebel fleet have joined in the fight now.
I agree with you.
So they could have easily taken a few Y-wings down there, or even X-wings, to bombard the shield. So again, we have a similar thing, but it's not a shield; it's a navigation unit. So without this thing, the ships don't know where to fly,
which is stupid.
Yeah, I don't
know. And then they transfer that to one of the ships, so it's like, oh no, it's on a Star Destroyer. Good thing. Let's just take a transport fleet. We're going to Star Destroyer and blow it up. Okay, fine. So they go there and they're like, shut down the speeders. They're not using speeders, and out comes fucking horses. Horses on a Star Destroyer. Okay,
but Ginger, they had no idea which Star Destroyer had the navigation beacon, and until Finn just felt it in the Force. Do you realize that? Yeah, that's how they knew it was that ship, because Finn just felt it in the Force.
No, I thought Poe found it.
No, Finn said it's on that ship, but I just thought he was guessing. Maybe I don't know. Well, I guess he did say I can feel it. It's okay. Like, what is the Force now a spider sense for him? Like,
I've completely missed that part. Thank you for telling me, guys. But again, another stupid, convenient thing. And then what did we see? What was one of the things that was marketed heavily before this film release? Sith troopers. The fuck was the point of them? I said it the minute they came up because it was just a toy. I said, I bet they do fuck all nothing in the film. And they did nothing. They had no extra accuracy. They had no nothing. It's just a visual thing.
No extra accuracy.
Yeah, just nothing.
Didn't we see Sith troopers in Last
Jedi? Sorry, what?
Didn't we see Sith troopers in Last Jedi when they had that fight after they killed Snoke?
No, those were like Snoke's personal guard or something like that.
Yeah.
Those
were his guards. And all this is where the whole thing just fucking falls apart now. It just gets stupid. Like, they don't need to be on the Star Destroyer. Again, it's just another hollow visual that needs to be there because J.J. Abrams. And it has the absolute fucking worst fight of spaceships, dogfights, all of that in all of the Star Wars films. It was the editing of this film was bad anyway. Now, J.J. Abrams, you could tell his heart wasn't in it because the visuals were not as good as they were in Force Awakens. Everything felt so claustrophobic. I didn't know what the fuck was going on in the bloody in the starfight with all the ships fighting. And then just as you're getting a bit of leeway and everything's going well, sudden Palpatine's like, Force lightning!
Force lightning, go! Force lightning!
Everything.
Force
That's what he does, mate.
Force lightning.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, before we go there, you know who I would like to have seen in episode 9 as well, make a return, is Captain Phasma. I wish they people never knew if they killed her off in episode 8. It wasn't 100%.
She felt good.
She's fucking wearing all that chrome armor and shit. Come on, man. You know what I mean? It could have been. They could have easily said that was Beskar on her fucking body. You know,
if they used Phasma right from the beginning, I would agree with you. But she was shit.
No, but they could have trilogy. No, I know, but they had a chance to do it right this time. She could have had that fight on the. She could have had the fight with the fuckers on the horses on the Star Destroyer, and she could have died that way when the fucking thing was falling, and she would have fallen off, and she would have definitely been dead when Lando
that would have been a third conflict that she loses, and
it just gets to lose
more to her uselessness.
Yeah, no. Here's how I would have done Phasma. I would have had in that first the episode 7. You know the Jedi or the stormtrooper that had the little billy stick or whatever. That
Yeah.
should have been Phasma, and she should have beat the crap out of Poe. And then I think somebody, she should have got shot by Chewie or something. But obviously it didn't pierce her armor, but it like knocked her out. So like technically Finn lost. So then they have their second fight in the Last Jedi. And basically, Finn tries to fight her again, and he gets his ass handed to him yet again. And then, and then the third movie, that would have been the final showdown between the two. And I mean, that would have made her so much better.
Yeah.
But they gave one of the best moments in The Force Awakens, to a regular stormtrooper. And then
get memes out of it. Traitor.
Yeah, they gave him a name. They gave him a name. His name was Traitor. Trade 8 or something like 38 or something like that. But yeah, they were hoping that he would come back in Last Jedi, and he didn't.
I saw him in there.
Was he?
Who?
No, nobody came back in that. No, he was killed. Yeah, he was killed. He was shot by Chewie or
no. I saw that guy all over the movie. He was everywhere.
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah,
he's all over the starships.
Yeah, he was on the starship. I mean, you saw him.
Exactly. And then after all the chaos, suddenly Palpatine could suck the life out of both of them. They're like, aha! I don't need anybody now. I can just suck you guys off. Yeah. and then as he's doing that, they're both dead on the floor. He detaches from that fucking amethyst thing machine. Yeah, I can hear some. Why can't I hear my voice? Who's echoing? I can hear my voice on somebody's stream. No, I think we're good now. Yeah. So then I can't remember something. He's giving a speech, and then Rey rises. Then Kylo rises. He's just kind of flicked away down a pit, survives somehow. Because Kylo or Ben, and then Rey rises, and electricity foils the Emperor again. You think he'd learn after the third time that maybe I shouldn't use electricity on Jedis because they seem to use it against me.
James, before you continue,
I
just want to say that the moment Luke told Rey to take both lightsabers with him, I knew that he would be handing one of those lightsabers to fucking Ben. I knew it, man. It made fucking sense.
Yeah.
But it was so telegraphed. It's almost annoying. Why would you take two lightsabers?
But I feel the way that they did it was actually pretty cool. Like I was expecting some moment where like all of a sudden the lightsaber goes flying across the screen and it goes into his hand. And and then it lights up. But it's like I like the way they did it with the whole connection thing. I thought I thought that was much better.
No, but no, I have no problem with that. I'm just saying that it was quite telegraphed. Like she had no reason to take two lightsabers with her. Like no fucking Jedi think, you know what? I better keep my backup just in case I lose this. No, they don't think like that, man. So I know
lightsabers.
Luke could finally.
I know you got dual list, but she wasn't one. So it just felt a bit weird. It felt shoehorned in to take this. So because Kylo Ren threw his original lightsaber away when he became Ben Solo. So he needed something to fight the Emperor with, and we knew we were going to get to that scenario. So I just didn't like any of that. That I didn't like, but it didn't feel organic. You know what I mean? It felt convenient.
Yeah, of course. But look, the first thing you got wrong with what you just said there is that Rey isn't this. Rey isn't supposed to be anything, yet she could do everything. So that Disney would have been like, nah, fuck it, Mary Sue the bitch up.
All right.
But the only thing I could say that justifies Luke saying take this is that he felt Ben's reconnection to the light and knew what Ben's intention was. So it's like, you're gonna need this, trust me. Or maybe just here, give it back to fucking Leia, whatever. But that's the only justifiable reason I could see for that. So then we get to the Emperor dies and the fleet is whooped up, destroyed, because even though they've got planet killers, they're pussies. Star Destroyers. They're fucking useless.
Yeah, right.
And then we see the whole Sith temple just get blown away. And Rey, oh no, well, Rey's actions cause her to die. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. They're cool. And I thought that was a fantastic moment. And I thought, what a great ending to build her up that much, only for all that to cause her to die. And I thought that was great because
Very
maybe
Matrix.
Very Matrixy, but I loved it. And then out of the pit comes Ben, and then he reverse transfers life to Rey, and they have their Romeo and Juliet moment where they kiss, even though he slaughtered a bunch of Padawans and his own dad. They have their little Romeo and Juliet to please the fucking beta cuck hentai drawers. They have their little Reylo moment, and then Ben dies. Which again, I didn't.
Oh,
but anyway, sorry, guys, go ahead.
I didn't like that. Like, I mean, I like the fact that he brought her back and then he died, but I didn't like the fact that they kissed.
I agree.
That to me felt very forced.
Yeah,
like
I didn't mind it too much. I didn't mind it. I always felt there was sexual tension between the two, and you know, he went to the light side. He saved her fucking life. You know, he brought her back to life, and he gave up his life in the process. I mean, it was
that part was fine.
Belief.
Bit that was just didn't really need to.
But
be.
For me, I always wanted Finn and Rey to get together. Yeah, so it felt a bit weird. You know,
I always wanted Poe and Finn to get together. They always had that.
Whatever, it didn't bother me. You know.
We all have like a really I think all three of us have like a really good best bud. You know, you can do a lot of shit with, and that's what they were a proper bromance. You know, you got a male friend you can confide in. But regarding actual relationships, I mean, like for a start, they already gave Poe a love interest with Kerry Russell. You know, so they were already.
Maybe he's pansexual. Maybe he's like Lando.
Maybe. But at the same time, it did feel to a degree that it did feel to a degree that, you know, maybe it was going down the Finn and Rey route, and it didn't. But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad they didn't. I didn't like Finn and Rey. I didn't like Rey and Kylo. Like the whole relationship part of it just felt really forced. The only one that I felt natural and, you know, was memeable was the Poe and Finn one. I mean, like, even though it's kind of funny, it's kind of like, no, I can see that. You know, like
we had lesbians.
No, even Han and Leia didn't feel natural.
You know.
No, I feel like Han and Leia did feel more natural than this. But that's
Han and Leia in Force Awakens did. I'm talking sequel to the only. Did not feel natural at all. You know.
Well, that's because they treated each other like exes, like I treat me like my ex. I mean,
there you go. Yeah, exactly.
It's always awkward.
That's it. Anyway,
no, but they never. Sometimes you could be an ex because sometimes you could be an ex, not because you don't like each other. It's just that your lives are going different directions. She had a whole fucking political career to deal with, and a military career, as well as being a fucking Jedi. And he was always this drifter.
You know why she doesn't have a political career anymore, right? They said in the I think in the books, like the between Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens book, I think somewhere it said that that Leia was outed as Vader's daughter, because nobody knew that. Like, nobody knew that Leia was actually Vader's daughter. So the reason why
I know about that. Yeah, I know.
People found out about it.
So they outed.
I mean, someone like Leia was a very busy person.
Yeah. It's
like someone like Leia could never be a stay-at-home mum. You know what I mean? She'd be too fucking busy for that. You know, she couldn't be going on. She couldn't be going on stupid adventures with fucking Han Solo. You know, she's more responsible than that. You know?
Yeah, of course. Right.
Anyway, that's why they broke up.
Then you get the whole celebration thing at the end, and it's like, oh, let's stick some Ewoks in there.
Ewoks.
Woo! I like the Ewoks from in Return of the Jedi.
Did you notice how much before
Harry
as we're going on the fan service, Ginge? Did you notice certain people in the film, like John Williams, had a cameo?
Yeah,
We
John
got to see
Williams.
Wedge again, Wedge Antilles
Wedge.
again.
That
Did you see
for
Wedge
me,
Antilles?
Wedge for me was my like I literally while I'm watching the last battle and I'm just sitting there like this. When Wedge shows up, because he's one of my favorite characters, even though because he's like fuck, that's Poe Dameron of that galaxy is Wedge, all right. And when he pops up, and I'm just like, oh, but then it's just a little scene. They could have had him just coming in on an X-wing and be like, "Let me show you kids how it's fucking done," like kind of thing. But I still enjoyed that they put him in there. That was one of the fan services. I was just like, yay!
So was he in there as Wedge, or was he? I missed him.
Yeah, he
so,
He was Wedge. He was Wedge. He was the gunner on the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I remember that. Okay, I didn't recognize him. I mean, I know who Wedge Antilles is, but I didn't recognize him when that scene came up.
I'm surprised because Dennis Lawson doesn't like any kind of association with Star Wars because he was like, no, I've done that part. That's over. Don't keep calling me Wedge. That's why I was extra surprised and happy that he showed up as Wedge. It was fantastic.
Yeah, mate, it doesn't matter how much you dislike it. You get fucking paid enough, you love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Han.
So
I mean, Harrison Ford hates Star Wars. He still showed up.
Which I don't understand. Like
money, huh?
I don't understand how they hate. I mean, I guess it would get old if, for all the years, like people come up to you and call you Han Solo. But I mean, think of how many memorable things Harrison Ford has been in.
He just didn't like the filming experience of it.
Oh.
Same with Alec Guinness and things like that. They just didn't like the experience and it left a sour taste. But Indiana Jones, he fucking loves that character.
Yeah, he loves that character.
Indiana Jones. So
but Billy D. Williams loves Lando Calrissian. He loves that character. I mean,
he does.
Daniel Lopez, the very young Boba Fett, he loves that character. So obviously Jake Lloyd doesn't.
What has he done since then? He just wants the money.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've met that little fucking Boba Fett guy. He was at a sci-fi fair in Cheshunt, and me with little Anakin guy as well.
He voices young Boba Fett in the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Because when they were thinking about making a Boba Fett movie, a lot of people wanted him to play Boba Fett because he's old enough now. He shows you how old he was. Just a kid in that film in episode 2. Yeah, he's now in his early 30s. He's in his early 30s now, mate.
He can easily play Boba Fett.
He can play Boba Fett now, but some people are also saying maybe Tamara Morrison should play him again. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways.
If Boba Fett showed up in these, then it would have been Tamara to play him because he looks older. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would have just been fucking too much if Boba Fett showed up in this. It would just be like. And then
I'm glad Boba Fett didn't show up in this. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mandalorian showed up in this.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange comes out and starts
doing Dr. Ray with a fucking puck in his hand. Yeah, I mean,
Baby Yoda shows up 100 years old. Yeah.
Baby Yoda shows up.
Baby Yoda shows up.
Yeah, fucking chokes there. Yeah, you got to Baby Yoda.
Force chokes Palpatine.
You see fucking Baby Yoda flying in there with fucking jetpack and shit and chokes the shit out of him.
Mandalorian helmet.
With his little fucking helmet on, his little Yodelorian helmet.
Oh, God.
With his ears sticking out and shit.
Oh, God. If
Episode 10, here we go.
The Mandalorian, that would be so fucking awesome. Honestly.
I want to talk about Mandalorian episode 7 as we're doing this, by the way.
Okay, 1 second. Let's just finish off with the film and then because
no problem.
There's 2-3 talking points left, which I didn't like at all. So one of those was that Leia wanted you to have this. It gives a medal to like Chewbacca.
Cheesy.
Because people were like, he never got one in the original fucking film, which I'm surprised George.
Yeah, cheesy. I felt
that. So that bit was just like, I roll. But anyway, and then Rey goes to Tatooine and buries the lightsabers at Luke's old house. And an old woman comes by. And it's like, we don't get many visitors around here. Who are you? I'm Ray. And then the Force ghosts of Leia and Luke show up. And then she turns around and says, Skywalker, which then justifies the title. She's now Ray Skywalker. Give me a fucking break. And that's how the film ends.
Yeah. I didn't mind that too much. I didn't mind that. I kind of felt it coming, but I didn't mind it too much. I mean, instead of Rise of Skywalker, they could have called it The Last Skywalker, but then again, you got The Last Jedi, so I guess they didn't want to go down that route. And then it's too telegraphed as well, I guess, thinking all the fucking Skywalkers are going to get killed off, which they did. There's no more Skywalkers anymore. That line is done.
That lineage is done. That's it. Unless Palpatine gets her up the duff with something or other. But that's done.
That's an incestual fucking Sith thing going on there.
And that saga ends, and we're never going to come back to it. And
look, they should have made that movie. Look, I honestly, they could have made that film 3 hours, and it would have probably done it justice if they did. It wouldn't have been rushed
the
so
film
much.
Never at one point feels like it's dragging. I never once thought, oh god, you know, at points it moves too fucking fast. So I agree, it should have been 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours.
If it's done right, and it's done well, then people don't look at the fucking watch.
No,
I mean,
you could have done 2 films in that 3 hours.
One of the best action films of this decade is Avengers Endgame, and you know, but it's got a lot of weight behind it to make it as good as it is. And so does fucking Star Wars Episode 9. It's got 8 fucking movies of material, as well as expanded material, Rogue One, Solo. It's got other shit it could delve on to make it this grand spectacle it can be. And we would all know what it's about because we've been on this fucking journey for 42 fucking years. So, you know, they should have made it 3 hours. I don't know what they were thinking. When I saw it was 2 hours, 30 minutes, I thought this is going to be a rushed movie. And everyone said it was when I saw the reviews, and it was when I watched it. I don't mind it. It's good pacing. It doesn't lag, but it was just ridiculous pace.
Yeah,
I
mean, moving forwards. Now is the big question, because The Last Jedi has gotten the worst reviews of a Star Wars film. Okay, that bit's unavoidable, regardless of what people thought. Again, I'll give it 5 out of 10. There was a lot of things I did like in it, and it is rewatchable despite that.
5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. You know, because there was a lot of
somebody who liked it. That's quite average. That's as average as it gets. I would give it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, well, listen, for me, it just had too many stupid things that it can't be overlooked. But just because I give it 5 out of 10 doesn't mean I won't rewatch it. I'll rewatch trash all day long. Last Jedi is just minus. It's just garbage. Still not as bad as Attack of the Clones. I fucking hate that film with a passion. And I watched some film scenes as well. I'll always bring that up because I was very lucky. But anyway, moving forward now, this studio, okay, I've never seen this kind of a mess since Warner Brothers in the 90s. All right, it's an absolute fucking joke of a studio. And I'm sorry to say, I hate, because people think, oh, you know, you're only attacking Kathleen Kennedy because she's a woman. It's like, well, no, if I had the internet back in the 90s, my thoughts on John Peters are way more vitriolic than they are. Well, John Peters is the prick that turned Batman from something amazing to fucking something worse in the 60s stuff. These are the arsehole that the reason why they never made Superman, and he was the cunt producer that just was a thorn in Warner Brothers' side. All right, they had to buy him out in the end to get rid of him. Okay, so I don't want people to think it's just an attack. She's at the helm of Lucasfilms. Name me another studio in this era where they are constantly firing and hiring directors, writers.
Sony?
No. Sony only had a problem with one of its franchises, and that was Spider-Man. But it never hired and fired at that rate. Not even they've done it with problems with their DC films. Okay, they come kind of close, but not at the rate with an easier franchise. It's not hard to get Star Wars right. Look at the Mandalorian. You know, I found it a little bit because the 3 episodes that were filler just dipped, given the context. Episode 7, wow, what fucking hell, best episode. You know, and Deborah Chow has given us the 2 best fucking episodes in the Mandalorian. I hope they give her Obi-Wan. I hope they just say, "Here's Obi-Wan."
She's got all of the episodes.
Huh?
She's got the whole fucking saga.
Yeah, give her the whole fucking saga. Let her do it. She's done the 2 best episodes, which is episode 3 and episode 7. Okay. But the whole studio needs an overhaul now. Moving forward, Kennedy needs to step down, go away. J.J. Abrams should not even be fucking consulted for anything because he's an anus. All right. They need to bring in people. I'm not even in favor of Favreau taking over, but I'll take it. Kind of thing.
Really?
They need somebody. Yeah, because the stuff I've seen in The Mandalorian, it still kind of irks me. And if that was put in a film, I'd just be tearing my hair out. So it needs somebody with balls to say to Bob Iger, you know what? Fuck you. This is not a kid's film. You wanted to say it's a kid's film, but look again, Warner Brothers now realize, you know what? Our main audiences are fucking grown ass adults. That's why their animations go on the like teen to R ratings. That's why Harley Quinn is just a flat out R rating. Joker was an R rating. Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey is an R rating. Okay,
really?
They know their audience. Okay, Star Wars doesn't need to be an adult rating thing, but it needs to treat its fucking audience like adults. It needs to be more darker, more ruthless.
Star Wars wants their cake and fucking eat it, yeah? They want all this kiddie aspect, but the amount of fucking decapitations, bodies chopped in half, limbs lost off, mass genocide of a planetary scale of people, billions of people fucking dying, yeah? You know, slaughtering of fucking children, you know, and not just the younglings, the fucking Tusken Raiders too, yeah? Mentioning of slaughtering of fucking children, like the mass genocide as well as the limbs and head chopping, all this I just said, yet they still want to be kiddie. Is fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
They had mass genocide in Rise of Skywalker when they blew up that fucking planet.
Yeah,
you know?
But they want it for kids. It makes
billions of people.
But you know what the problem is? The problem is well, it's generational. So what the original Star Wars had a universal audience. Okay, it wasn't the marketing stuff and the toys and all that. Fine, yeah, geared towards kids. But the thing, it appealed to everyone. You're not these films. Who the fuck are they appealing to? Brain dead, beta cucks. I don't know. But stop trying to gear it first towards kids or as a marketing tool. Make the film first, then everything else will just fucking fall into place. You know, just have some balls and don't think everything has to be galactic empires. You know, keep it. You can keep it more intimate, more localized, smaller. So everything doesn't have to be a trilogy. It could be duologies, it could be one-offs. Tap into the fucking lore. Like all the lore, the books and all of that. Do some animated films with that. The fans would fucking eat that shit up. They'd Blu-ray the fuck out of it and inject it into their veins. I'm one of them. I would. You know.
Mate, I want more stuff focused on the Sith. You know, I really do.
Anyway,
you know, stuff like that. You know, other elements of the societies in Star Wars, the smugglers and the bandits and stuff like that. Yeah,
Bubba.
Yeah, Roberto.
Oh, I just was letting you guys know I got to get going. But
all right, dude. I'm going to end the stream here anyway.
Oh, okay.
We've got no viewers now anyway. Everyone's gone.
I'll just really just say that regarding The Mandalorian, I thought it was a good episode. It left on an excellent cliffhanger, and I can't wait till next week.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
I'm a little bit apprehensive this title what Kiki is directing, so I hope it doesn't turn into a fucking comedy. But I can't wait to see it end. At least, hopefully, it just ends on a high. So yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. See you later. Motherfuckers. And end the broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.